Welcome back to my channel. You already know it's your boy Hood Digital, the Rock Reactor, back with another video. Yes, sir. Before I proceed, let me know where you tapping in from. Let me know what country, what city, what mountain, what hill, what cave, what island, what planet, what universe. Let me know where you at. Represent your hood. Yes, sir. A plethora of love to my Ukraine. An abundance of peace. Hopefully coming soon to my Ukraine. As I stand with God, I stand with Ukraine. Yes, sir. I have to continue to cover this because I'm just excited, guys. I'm just excited. You know why? Because it seems like my prayers are coming. My prayers are finally being heard. If you guys look at my old videos, I've always said that I pray for peace in Ukraine. I pray for peace in Cambodia. And I prayed for world peace. But I specifically touched those two countries because those are the countries that support me. I support them. So I have to support them to the fullest. And since I started my channel, basically, I've been identifying with Ukraine. I've been identifying with Cambodia. So I specifically always pray for Cambodia and Ukraine. But let's get to Ukraine. New Bolshevik revolution in Russia. Ukraine drives Russia into pre-1917 era. Man, without further ado, let's take a look because I am excited, guys. And before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the description. Let's get right to it, guys. Let's get right to it.
The campaign of Ukrainian strikes against Russian oil and gas infrastructure not only deprives Russia of its main source of funding for its aggression, but also destabilizes the socio-political situation in the Russian rear, just as Russian society was destabilized on the eve of the February Revolution of 1917. Forbes writes about this. The publication notes that Ukraine tried to hit the aggressor in this vulnerable spot back in late 2023. But then the Biden administration, fearing the rise in world oil prices, effectively vetoed this strategy of Kyiv. In the summer of 2025, Ukraine began a new campaign of strikes against Russian oil refineries and pipelines. This time, when Washington no longer objected to such strikes, the campaign brought significant results. According to various sources, Russia lost from 17% to 20% of its oil refining. This has caused significant fuel shortages and rising prices on Russia's domestic market, increasing social pressure on the Kremlin as ordinary Russians increasingly feel the effects of the war. Ukrainian drone strikes on oil refineries achieve what sanctions alone could not. Moscow has found ways to adapt to Western sanctions, but so far it has no reliable defense against Ukrainian drones, explains former advisor to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry Serhiy Kuzan. As Forbes notes, Russian propaganda cannot ignore the queues at petrol stations in many regions of Russia, but tries to explain this by the consequences of increased seasonal demand for fuel and unscheduled repairs of oil refineries, only occasionally admitting that
Russia's not looking good. I believe that it's going to come to a point where his own citizens are going to turn against him. His own citizens are going to pressure him to get the war stopped. His own officials, his own advisors are going to pressure him that the best move is going to be to stop the war.
the reasons for these unscheduled,
in other words, to quit while he's ahead,
repairs are destructive drone debris flying freely over the European part of Russia. On September the 4th, Putin was forced to admit that Russia faces a gas shortage, suggesting that the country turn to coal reserves, which will last for almost 1,000 years. Russia's oil export revenues fell in August to a 5-year low of $13.5 billion, Reuters reported, as exports declined and Urals crude traded at $56 a barrel, below the $60 price cap. The Kremlin faces a delicate balance. Its war in Ukraine demands ever greater funding, yet the economic pressure is growing. The central bank has done an impressive job stabilizing the economy so far, but its tools are limited. Businesses are already strained by high interest rates meant to contain inflation, and rising fuel prices add to the pressure, threatening to upset that balance. Forbes said, and all this is happening against the backdrop of a gradual deterioration in the overall economic situation in Russia. As the author of the publication notes, these attacks on refineries themselves will not end the war, but they are shaping its trajectory. Putin often positions himself as the heir to the Tsars.
They're not winning the war, but they're shaping the trajectory. It's kind of like the same thing. I don't know. To me, it's kind of like the same. It's taking it towards a different direction, in other words.
Rebuilding an empire. But he should remember, Tsar Nicholas II during World War I, when overextended fronts and domestic shortages made domestic unrest as dangerous as an enemy abroad. Forbes concludes,
During a special operation by the SBU in the port of Primorsk on September 12, 2 Russian tankers were damaged at once, Kusto and Kayun. These vessels belong to the Shadow Fleet of the Russian Federation and fly the flag of the Seychelles, Reuters reports, citing sources. It is noted that after the drone strike, Russia's largest oil product export port in the Baltic Sea suspended operations. In addition, the extent of damage to the pumping station, which was also attacked, is still unknown. According to experts, Primorsk's trade turnover reaches $100 million daily. Therefore, even a short-term shutdown of the port causes Russia colossal economic losses. It is noted that Russian oil exports are already limited, since the port of Ust-Luga has not yet fully restored its capacity after the drone attack in August. This month, the port is half-loaded. The publication also writes that Russia has revised its September plan to export crude oil from western ports to 2.1 million barrels a day, up 11% from before, as drone strikes on domestic refineries have reduced local demand for crude. Earlier, on September 12, the Russian telegram channel Astra reported that drones had attacked Russia's largest oil loading port, Primorsk, in the Leningrad region. As a result of the strike, a fire broke out on one of the ships. It was noted that the attack was one of the most massive in the region since the beginning of the full-scale war of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. Leningrad Region Governor Alexander Drozdenko claimed that air defense forces allegedly shot down 30 drones over the region. SBU sources later said their drones had hit Russia's largest oil terminal on the Baltic Sea, which is the final destination of the Baltic pipeline system. According to them, as a result of a successful attack by SBU drones on one of the ships in the port and at the pumping station, fires broke out, and oil shipments were suspended. Estimated daily losses to the Russian budget from the cessation of exports could amount to $41 million.
I think he should have quit while he was ahead, guys. Let me know what you think. I think he should have quit. I think he should have came and sat on the table with Zelensky when it was time. And there were times that, as I understand, there was an agreement to cease fire, and he wouldn't respect that. He would still be bombing shit.
Putin's army was actively fighting in the area of Varachino, Andriivka, and Yunakovka. At the same time, Ukrainian forces counterattacked in the area of Andriivka, Alexeyevka, and Novokonstantinovka. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War have voiced the situation in Sumy region. A Russian military correspondent associated with the northern group of Russian forces said that the Russian military command has significantly strengthened the 83rd Airborne Brigade in the Varachinsk direction, but the servicemen are unhappy because they suspect that their military command will soon give them the order to attack. According to him, the units of the Chechen Special Forces Akhmat continue to operate in the Novonikolayevka area, but have consolidated their positions and are not attacking. However, according to rumors, the 22nd Motorized Rifle Regiment is reporting that the units of the Chechen Special Forces Akhmat have left their positions in the Novonikolayevka area. Drone operators of the 217th Airborne Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces and the 106th Airborne Division continue to strike Ukrainian positions along the Kursk-Sumy regional border, and drone operators of the Anvar Special Forces Unit and the Smugyanka Unit strike Ukrainian positions in the Sumy direction. Earlier, media reported that in Donetsk, the Ukrainian armed forces attacked the command posts of the 41st Army of the Russian Federation and the 20th Motorized Rifle Division. Thus, the Dnipro-Osint Channel reports that the command post of the 41st Combined Arms Army of the Russian Armed Forces was located on the territory of the Topaz plant, and the command post of the 20th Motorized Rifle Division was located on the territory of the Donetsk Metallurgic plant. Ukrainian journalist Andrei Saplienko stated that the current commander of the 41st Army, Sergei Rizkov, personally took part in planning the invasion of Putin's army into Ukraine in February 2022. He also noted that the attacks on enemy command posts in Donetsk were carried out by Ukrainian-made missiles. The territory of the Topaz plant was already attacked by the Ukrainian armed forces in 2023 and 2024. At one time, the plant produced complex radio-technical systems, including radio-technical reconnaissance and early warning systems for air defense, among which was the Kolchuga station. Since 2014, the enterprise has been transferred to the Iskra company plant.
Free assist. I like what's going down, guys. I like what's going down, but I'm going to be honest. I don't know why I am a little worried. Excuse me, I'm a little worried that weapons of mass destruction get involved. Nuclear weapons get involved. I'm a little worried that, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments. Maybe, I don't know if I'm talking shit, I don't know, but as I am aware, Russia has heavy nuclear weapons. So I'm afraid that he might get desperate and start involving weapons of mass destruction. I am a little worried about that, guys. Other than that, I'm happy. My prayers are being heard, and hopefully we're moving towards peace. Because sometimes to achieve peace, unfortunately, is through war. So, guys, let me know. Maybe I'm talking shit, but I am a little bit scared that weapons of mass destruction might get involved, and you have a bigger we have a bigger loss in our hands. So let me know, guys. And of course, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the description. Love you, Ukraine. Peace for Ukraine. Peace for Cambodia. Peace, love, and God bless. Peace for the world.